chosen ones, what I am about to tell you today is something that I think is going to stop you completely. Because this is not a story about following God's plan. This is not a story about choosing between right and wrong. This is a story about something far more extraordinary than that. God prepared two paths for you, a good path and a better path. Both of them designed by Him. Both of them leading somewhere real. Both of them valid options for your life. And you looked at both of them, you stood at that crossroads. You saw what was on either side, and then you did something that nobody expected. You chose neither. You went a completely different direction, a third path, one that was not on any map, one that made no logical sense, one that confused the people around you, and honestly, if heaven has anything like surprise, left it speechless. And today, I want to tell you what that third path was, why you chose it, and what God thinks about it now. Let me set the scene first, because I want you to understand what the two prepared paths actually looked like. The first path was the safe path, the one that made sense to everyone around you, the practical path, the one where you took the stable job, built the comfortable life, stayed in the familiar place, maintained the relationships that were easy, if not deeply fulfilling, and lived a life that was not extraordinary, but was not painful either. It was a real path, a valid path, one that God had prepared with full love and intention for the version of you that would choose it, and for a moment you considered it. The comfort of it was real. The simplicity of it was appealing. The predictability of it felt like relief after everything chaotic in your life. But something in you could not fully commit to it. Something kept pulling you away from the comfortable path, not because comfort is wrong, but because you were built for something that comfort could not fully contain. The second path was the bold path, the one God designed for the chosen one who was willing to take risks, the ministry path, the purpose path, the step out in faith path, the one where you built the thing, started the movement, spoke the word, answered the call in the most direct and visible way possible. And this path was beautiful, genuinely beautiful, full of impact and fruit and the specific satisfaction of walking directly in your calling. And you looked at it, you felt the pull of it, the clarity of it, the way it aligned with everything you knew you were made for. But something stopped you from taking this path too. Not fear, not lack of faith, something more specific than that. A knowing that even this path, as beautiful as it was not quite the shape of what was actually on your heart. And so you chose the third path, the one God did not draw on the map because He wanted to see if you would find it yourself. The one that emerged from the specific combination of your wounds, your gifts, your experiences, your unconventional perspective, your refusal to fit perfectly into any category that already existed. The third path looked like doing the thing in a way nobody had done before, reaching the people that neither path was reaching, speaking the language of both the spiritual and the practical in a way that made both worlds feel understood, building something that did not have a template, serving people that the existing structures were not set up to serve, going to places that the well-worn paths did not pass through, and doing all of it in the specific, unrepeatable, only you could do it way that your life had equipped you for. That was the third path, and when you chose it, when you started walking in it, heaven noticed. Now I want to explain why the third path left heaven speechless, not because God did not know it existed. He knew. He always knows. But what left heaven speechless was not the path itself. It was the fact that you found it. Because the third path does not announce itself. It does not come with clear signage. It does not have the obvious markers that the first two paths had. Finding the third path requires a specific kind of person, someone who knows themselves deeply enough to recognize what does not fit, even when it looks good. Someone who trusts their spirit enough to turn away from options that are valid, but not quite right. Someone who has enough relationship with God that they can feel the difference between His yes and His really good, but not quite. Someone who is willing to walk without a map, because the map they were given did not show where they were going. That person is rare, and you are that person. And that the combination of self-knowledge, spiritual sensitivity, and courage to walk without a clear path is what heaven found extraordinary. Let me talk about what the third path actually costs, because I do not want to romanticize it. The third path is beautiful, but it is also hard in very specific ways. The first cost of the third part, this is that nobody can fully walk it with you, because it is yours, uniquely, specifically, unrepeatable yours. And that means that even the people who love you most, even the ones who genuinely want to support you, cannot fully see where you are going. They can be with you. They can cheer for you. They can believe in you. but they cannot fully comprehend the path because it was not made for them. It was made for you. And walking a path that no one else can fully see is one of the loneliest experiences a human being can have. Not because no one cares, but because care cannot always substitute for comprehension. The second cost of the third path is constant questioning, from others and from yourself, because the third path does not have the validation mechanisms that the first two paths have. The first path has social approval. The second path has spiritual community approval. The third path has mostly just the internal knowing that this is right, and internal knowing as real as it is can waver, especially when you are tired, especially when the results are slow, especially when you look at people on the first or second path who seem more settled, more affirmed, more certain, and you start to wonder if the third path was just a creative way of being afraid. It was not, but the questioning will come, and the only thing that sustains you through it is the specific, quiet, unshakable sense that this is exactly where you are supposed to be. The third cost of the third path is that the fruit takes longer. The first two paths have established systems of fruit. You do the thing, you get the result, you see the outcome. The third path is building something that has never been built before, which means the systems that produce fruit on the first two paths do not exist yet on yours. You are building them as you go, which means the fruit is slower, less predictable, sometimes invisible for long stretches while everything underground is growing in ways you cannot yet see. And the patience required to keep building when the fruit is not yet visible is one of the most demanding things the third path requires. Now I want to talk about why God allowed the third path to exist. Because it was not an accident. It was not you going off script. It was not a deviation from the plan. The third path, for all its unexpectedness, was actually within God's knowledge and within His will. Not plan A, not plan B, but something else entirely. Something that God knew was possible, but could only emerge from the specific person you became through the specific experiences you went through. If your life had been easier, the third path would not have emerged. If you had not been through what you were through, you would not have had the perspective to find it. If you had not developed the specific combination of gifts through the specific fire of your story, the third path would have been invisible to you. Your suffering produced the eyes to see a path that others cannot see. Your resilience produced the legs to walk a path that others cannot walk. Your unconventional story produced the wisdom to navigate a path that has no precedent. God did not plan the suffering, but He used every bit of it to produce the specific person who would find the third path. And that person is you. Now I want to speak to the specific place many of you find yourselves on the third path, because I know that different people are watching this and are in different stages of their third path journey. To the chosen one who is at the beginning of the third path, who has just turned away from both prepared options and is standing in the unmarked territory of something new, I want to tell you, keep going. The discomfort you feel right now is not a sign you are wrong. It is the natural sensation of walking somewhere that has not been walked before. New ground always feels uncertain, but uncertain is not the same as wrong. Trust the knowing that led you here. Keep moving. To the chosen one who is in the middle of the third path, who has been walking for a while, who has built something, who has seen some fruit, but is also deeply tired, I want to tell you what you are building is real. The weariness of the middle does not mean the ending will not come. It means you are human, and human beings get tired in the middle of extraordinary things. Rest, refuel, and then keep going. Because the middle of the third path is where most people would have stopped, and the fact that you have not is already extraordinary. To the chosen one who is questioning whether the third path was a mistake, who is looking at the first or second path with a kind of longing, I want to tell you the longing is not evidence that you made the wrong choice. It is evidence that you are tired, and tired people romanticize what they did not choose. The first path would have been comfortable, but comfort was never what you were built for. The second path would have been meaningful. Boo! You have found meaning on your own terms in ways the second path could not have accommodated. You did not make a mistake. You made the most courageous choice available to you, and God saw it, and heaven noticed. Now I want to give you something practical for walking the third path well. First, document the journey, because the third path produces things worth recording. The insights, the unexpected turns, the moments where something opened that you could not have predicted, the times when what seemed like a dead end revealed itself as a doorway. Document all of it, not just for yourself though, that alone would be worth it, but because the documentation of your third path journey is going to become a resource for the next person who finds themselves at the same crossroads. Your journey is someone else's map. Write it down. Second, find other third path walkers. They exist. They are rarer than first or second path people, but they are out there. And the connection between two people who are both walking their own unrepeatable paths is one of the most nourishing kinds of connection a chosen one can have. Not because they can tell you exactly where your path goes, but because they understand the specific experience of walking without a map. Find them. Invest in those connections. Third, release comparison completely. The third path cannot be compared to the first or second. They are not competing. They are just different. And measuring your third path progress against the metrics of the first or second path is like measuring the success of a fish by its ability to climb a tree. The metrics do not apply. Build your own metrics. Define your own markers of progress. And stop measuring yourself against a standard that was built for someone else's path. Chosen ones, I want to close this video with something I want you to carry. Heaven noticed when you chose the third path, not with disappointment, not with confusion, with something closer to awe, because the third path, for all its difficulty, for all its cost, for all the loneliness and questioning it produces, is also the path that produces something the first and second paths cannot. Originality. The specific, unrepeatable, only came from your contribution to the world. The thing that exists because you existed. The people who were reached because you reached them. The truth that was spoken in the specific way that only your voice could speak it. The community that was built in the specific way that only your gifts could build it. All of it uniquely yours, uniquely valuable, uniquely necessary. And heaven, which has been watching every step of the third path, is not confused by your choice. It is honoring it. Keep walking. The third path leads somewhere that neither of the other two could have taken you. Somewhere that was always yours. Somewhere that the world has been waiting for you to arrive. And you are almost there. If this video spoke to something real in you today, share it right now with every chosen one you know. Comment below and tell me, what does your third path look like? I read every single comment, every one. If you are new here, welcome. Stay chosen. Stay on your path. Keep walking, because heaven is watching. And it is not speechless anymore. It is cheering.